Hey everybody, what's up? KillJoy Jake here, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. Today we have a little bit of a Scream 5 update, talking about some speculation and theories based on some recent posted and then deleted posts from a certain actress in this new film. Now before I get into that, I'm gonna need y'all to like this video and subscribe for more horror content. Also, please consider supporting me on Patreon. The link for that will be in the description below. You know, if you want to see more videos like this as frequently as possible, you gotta help me out over there, and then, you know, I can actually be posting on here a little more. Alrighty, now let's get into it.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Well, I'm Pennywise the dancing clown.
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast!
You son of a...
God, don't do that.
Well, sometimes that is better.
So recently Jenna Ortega posted this picture of herself on Instagram, and you know, otherwise it would just be like, okay, cool photo, sweet, like that's great, let's just go about our day, keep scrolling through our Instagram feed, whatever. But then her hairstylist went and commented on it and said, I thought they said no behind the scenes. The post has since been deleted and has had a lot of Scream fans coming up with a bunch of weird theories. One that I've been seeing that was actually posted by Scream Obsessed, this awesome Twitter account that's just like another like Scream update page. Make sure to check them out if you're not following them already. They retweeted this picture of that picture that was deleted of Jenna Ortega right next to this one right here, which was a picture that was released very early on when all the big Scream 5 news was really coming out when they were filming. And if you remember at the time when this picture was posted, a lot of people speculated that this was going to be the opening scene. Now here's the thing, it looks like where Jenna Ortega is like the background of that picture, it kind of looks like the same place right here, like there's some trees that look very similar to that picture. So maybe this is a bit of a stretch here, and yeah, it totally is. But do you think that picture is of Jenna Ortega when they were filming the opening sequence? So could that mean Jenna Ortega gets offed at the beginning of Scream 5? Like I said, this is a totally wild theory. Don't take this as like truth or anything. This is just speculation. I like to reiterate that a lot because I get some angry comments from people who don't listen to everything I say in these videos. I think it would make sense to kill off Jenna Ortega at the beginning of your film. I mean, like, I don't want her to, obviously, and she's one of the biggest actresses like that I know that isn't part of like the returning cast. Her and like Jack Quaid are probably like the two biggest stars coming into this film as new characters. But it would make sense to do that. It's not the first time a Scream film has killed off one of its biggest actors or actresses at the beginning of the movie. And a lot of people who are really big into horror now know Jenna Ortega is kind of like an up-and-coming new player. She was in that You show that I haven't watched yet. I don't know, it doesn't, like, the concept alone doesn't sound very interesting to me. I hear it's pretty good though, so I'm gonna give it a shot. And then she's also in The Babysitter too. So like, a lot of people know who this is. It's a fresh new face that people know of. It would be really interesting to kill her at the beginning of this film, I think. It would not be a bad choice, and definitely not one that they didn't talk about, I'm sure. So I could definitely see her being the opening kill. Like I said though, this is very, like, it's a total stretch, my theory here. This is just like, I saw this and I'm like, oh, that could be that. It could be. The other thing about that is like the Jenna Ortega picture was very clearly taken during the day, and then this picture is during the night. So like, if they started shooting maybe like at like 5 o'clock or something, maybe like they just had time to like goof around and Jenna Ortega's taking pictures of herself because she had her hair done all nice, because like that's what happens when you're working on a film. You have to look all good and shit. So maybe she's goofing around taking some pictures beforehand, then goes and films herself getting killed by Ghostface in the opening scene. I mean, it's plausible. It's totally plausible there. The other thing I wanted to talk about was that Courtney Cox was recently on the Drew Barrymore show, which is like, if you don't know, like Drew Barrymore actually has her own show now. And the other thing you probably know about Drew Barrymore is that she's the opening kill of the original Scream film. And I can't believe I have to go over this, but like there's some people who don't know. Drew Barrymore was of course this huge star in the mid-90s, so like they're like, hey, let's promote this movie with like her as the star of it. That's really cool. But then like what they ended up doing is boom, they killed her right at the beginning of the film. So it's like, oh, big shock, crazy. A lot of you are just like, okay, yeah, I already knew that, cool. But it was kind of interesting to see these two like together again, even though like they weren't even in a single shot of the original Scream film, but it doesn't matter. It was pretty cool that they were together on this like TV show together. They even talked about the new Scream film. It's not the first time someone has been on there talking about Scream. I'm sure you can see that in one of my past updates. But Courtney was talking about the upcoming Scream film and said this: it's a new franchise. It's hip, it's scary, it's just a new Scream. It's not a reboot, it's not a remake, it's just a brand new launch. I think it's going to be fantastic. So there's nothing there that's really giving anything away, just pretty general stuff, you know, just kind of talking about the movie. I remember when Scream 5 like first kind of like came, like I remember when this news was like really rolling in, like a lot of people were speculating it was gonna take the Halloween 2018 route, where like it was kind of like a remake reboot, but it's like a continuation to just the original film. There was speculation on that. Obviously now like a lot of people don't don't think that's what, it can't be that. It actually can't, because like there's characters from all of the sequels, literally all of the sequels and even the original movies, of course, coming back for this film. So it can't be a continuation to just the first movie. And like she even said, like it's not a reboot, it's not a remake, it's kind of its own thing. She specifically says it's a brand new launch, meaning like they're cleaning the slates from the past, like they're kind of like starting over. And like that's kind of what I want with this series. I've talked in the past about how the sequels of Scream, they're all good. I just feel like they all, especially 2 and 4, have little problems that if you solved those, they would be probably as good as the original. Like, they would stand up to them. 3 is full of problems. You would have to take, like, we would need a master writer to come in and fix that script. But that's a totally different story, and a totally different video. Scream 5 has the potential, in my opinion, to be the best sequel. Because, like I said, like, Scream 2, I personally don't like the ending, and I don't like who the killers are. I don't mind Mickey, it's Mrs. Loomis that I just have a problem with. It's like, hey, let's just copy everything that happened in Friday the 13th for a Scream film. Personally, I just don't care for that. The whole Mrs. Loomis thing being the killer just doesn't work for me. I mean, it takes a lot to actually murder somebody in real life, and they have a good motive for that. Typically, these films have a pretty good reason for that, like a really good motive, but like, you're gonna go after people who stopped your son, who was a effing criminal, who just went and like mindlessly murdered people just because he was crazy? Like, really? Like, I would be, if IRL, I think a realistic situation there is if someone killed your kid because they killed like a whole bunch of people and like tricked some other dude, Stu, into like killing with them. My thinking is this person is embarrassed and like mortified, terrified that their son would do this, and is now dead. So they're in shock. They're not going out and actually murdering people on top of that. I think they stay inside and become recluse and like don't ever leave the house. And it's like, it's a bad situation, but I don't think they actually go and then continue to murder someone. That's a little unrealistic to me. Talk about things being a stretch, you know what I'm saying? Scream 4 is also all over the place with its meta humor, like that does not hit half the time, especially that opening sequence. You reduce some of that though, Scream 4 is a pretty good film. Like, you take out like half the jokes, you got some great characters there, you got a great cast, you have a pretty good storyline. It could be a good movie, just edit it down a little bit. We have these wonderful new directors that are coming in here. They're these up-and-coming horror stars. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw Ready or Not yet, but highly recommend. If you're a little like, if you're on the fence about Scream 5 because no Wes Craven and you're just like, I don't know these new people, watch Ready or Not. It is a very well-directed film. Oh, just all around. Everything about it is so wonderful. It's very fast-paced. And if this new Scream film is anything like that, where it's like fast-paced, the punches just keep coming. There's really good landing jokes. I'm looking at you, Scream 4. If this film can do that, it's gonna be wonderful. It's gonna be a great time, and it's gonna probably be the best sequel in my opinion. But what do you guys think about all this? Do you think my theories are a little crazy and whack? I wouldn't blame you. I mean, it was, like I said, it's a bit of a stretch. Also, what do you think about this Courtney Cox quote? That is a hard thing to say, let me tell you. Leave me something about it in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching my new Scream 5 update. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more horror content. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Just look up KillJoy Jake, and I should come up, I guess. Check out my second channel, Movie Smoothie, where I review everything that isn't horror. I'll be really being active on that channel sometime next month, talking about all the new Rick and Morty episodes, so make sure to check that out. Also, please consider supporting me on Patreon. The link for that is in the description below. And as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.